So again, really appreciate the opportunity to be here. And what I'd really like to kind of start out with is the external factors, or what's going on in the environment, because that's so important because it's moving so fast. And if you can go to the next slide, the first slide, I'd like to talk a little bit about how we see the external environment and how it impacts us moving forward. Overall, the headline is globally, we see improvement in the economy, but we do see it uneven in various parts of the world. And a lot of that driven by weak labor markets or tight credit markets, and just varying rates of consumer confidence. Those things are very, very important overall to growth rates in any country around the world. We do see the global industry growing at about 5 to 10%, albeit it's again going to be a bit uneven. Here in the U.S., we're seeing modest growth, and we can all define what modest means, but it is modest. And the good news is it's growing versus last year. In places like Asia Pacific, China, India, we're seeing pretty robust growth. And in Europe, we are seeing less growth, and part of that is due to the scrappage programs that have come off, but also, at the same time, the austerity measures that have been put in place by some of the various European governments. Consumer spending, we see fairly tepid, both here in the U.S. and in Europe, again, for many of the same factors that I mentioned before. And overall, the central banks are being very accommodating in terms of their fiscal policies and as it relates to interest rates to really spur economic growth coming off a very weak period. And then finally, as the other factors that we look at that impact our business, obviously exchange rates, and they are what they are, and it's important for us to focus on the things that we can control, but also understand those things do impact us and will require us to take appropriate action. And then finally, commodities. We've seen a bit improvement in the commodities, but as you know, commodities are a point in time, and they do tend to change from not only from quarter to quarter, but month to month, and some days day to day. So we just remain flexible. So the bottom line on the external environment, as you can see here, it remains challenging, and but at the same time, we are seeing modest growth, and we think that's a good thing going forward. Now, if you go to the next slide, the external environment certainly influences us as we implement our plan. And the good thing is we've had the One Ford plan now for almost 4 years now. And it's been very important for us, and you can see the 4 elements here. It's restructuring the business to operate profitably at the current levels of demand, produce the products that people really want and value and accelerate that, finance the plan, and also work together. And it's very simple, but I have to tell you, in an environment over the past couple of years where there's been a lot of tumultuousness in the industry, this has been a wonderful beacon and a wonderful, it's like a rudder in the boat that keeps us on course to where we're heading and doesn't really allow us to get distracted of things that are going on out there, although we're obviously aware of them and only react to them. So as you look at the plan, let's go through some of the elements of that plan. And what I'd like to do is just go to the next slide and talk about each element. The first element, restructure the business. You can see here we've taken a lot of actions as a business to get the structure of the business right. It required, obviously, taking a lot of operating costs out of the business. See that since the end of 2005, we have taken out about $10 billion of operating costs. And that's been a combination of taking out capacity, of which we'll have 40% out by 2011. And we're almost there. We have 2 more plants to close next year, which is our Twin Cities facility in Minnesota and our plant up in Canada. Also, we've had to say goodbye to a lot of folks in the Ford family. But at the end of the day, very important to get the structure right and working with our UAW partners to make a lot of progress more competitive and really eliminating that gap to other competitors in the marketplace. And then finally, making a lot of progress in how we bring products to the marketplace, both from an efficiency standpoint, but also from a timing standpoint, because product is so important, and it is our lifeblood, and hopefully we had a chance to see some of our products that are coming to the market right now out in the courtyard there. And I'm a little biased, I think they're the best in the industry, but we certainly encourage you to drive one. So if you get a chance, we really would appreciate a chance to allow you to do that. So as we looked at the structure, the other thing that we're spending a lot of time on is break-even. Because as the industry now starts to grow, sometimes you can let costs creep in. And there's a difference between good costs and not so good costs. And that's why keeping a laser-like focus on the break-even is so important for us. Because as we grow the business, clearly we're going to add some elements to grow the business. But keeping a very laser-like focus on our break-even is something that's on our to-do list literally every day we work in. So that's the first element of our plan. Let's go to the second, which is it's about the products. And what you see here is overall our portfolio for the Ford brand. I would point out that the products that are circled in blue are products that we have a major product action this year. And this year, by volume, we are either replacing or significantly freshening up to a third of our volume this year in terms of sales. So it's a very busy year for the team, and we've introduced a lot of these products. Right now, we're in launch mode for the Explorer and also the F-150. New powertrains are coming, which we're very proud of, and we also think customers are going to be very impressed by when we get into the marketplace. But overall, through our One Ford plan, one of the tenets of the plan was to better balance our portfolio of sales. Because in the past, we've been too dependent on trucks and SUVs. And as you take a snapshot of our business, let's say back in 2004, where we were about 70% trucks and SUVs and 30% cars and crossovers, it's about flip now. But at the same time, we want to make sure that we also communicate that we're not letting up on trucks, we're not ignoring trucks. As a matter of fact, our F-Series, even before the new powertrains that are coming later this year, have gained about 4 points of segment share. So very much a balanced, better balanced portfolio, full line, small, medium, and large, cars, trucks, and utilities with the best quality, safety, smart technology, and of course, at the same time, a good value to consumers. So if you go to the next slide, just as important as the products that we're bringing to the market is how we're bringing them to the market. And this is really central to our plan. And through our One Ford plan, we're really taking advantage of globally bringing together our B, C, and CD platforms. And what you can see here on the top, the Fiesta, for example, we've sold over 900,000 worldwide of our new Fiestas in Europe and Asia Pacific. And as you know, we're starting to sell them here in the United States. And ultimately, by the time we get to 2014, we'll have about 1.6 million units coming off this platform. And clearly there are advantages, scale efficiencies around engineering, around tooling, and around just overall piece costs when you have this kind of scale. The next product there, the Focus, we're very excited about the new Focus that's coming to marketplace. I think you've seen, hopefully seen it either in the flesh at some of the auto shows or some of the pictures. It's going to have great design. It's going to be packed with customer relevant technology, and when you get behind the wheel, it's going to put a smile on your face. It's the technical way I can kind of describe the riding handling. But very importantly, around the world, we will share about 80% common parts